right, thanks, Nick. Who is taking this for the first time today? Wow. Okay. All right. A lot of newbies out there. All right. Well, as you're probably aware, it's been about a month now that Rapatoni's been gone. So that's probably why you guys are here trying to learn this new system here. So one of the first things I like to say is with Matrix, it's very, very mobile friendly. Okay? So on your tablets, on your iPads, on your whatever devices, it is not an app. All you need to do is basically get on your browser, get on the internet, on your phones or tablets, iPads, and go to dabr.com. Have you guys already tried that and done that? It sounds like a lot of you probably have. Okay, good. And then when you get in, you just need to log into their site. Just typing in your user ID and password. It should be the same one that you've been using. And just logs you right into the dashboard, the Clarity dashboard here. Okay? And this is where DABR can communicate with you and all these good stuff here. And just click on Matrix. Get you right in. Has everyone done that so far? Okay. So that's a good thing. Now, just like I said, since this is mobile, when you log in on your phone device, it will detect that you're on a smaller device. And see all these tabs up here in blue? The very last one up here says mobile. So if you click on mobile, this is how it'll look like on your cell phone when you first log in. Okay? Or it may or may not. Depends on your cell phone's settings. But if you really want to, and if you're following along today on your phone and want to kind of follow along with me, there is a link right down here at the bottom that says full site. And it just takes you into the full version. Now remember, you're on your small phone, so it may not be as easy to follow along, but you can do it. True story, I'm a national trainer, by the way. I do live in Huber Heights, so I am a local person here. Don't hold that against me, though. But true story, I was in Fort Worth, Texas, and I was doing this training class, and I had trouble with my old laptop. So I said, well, let me see if I can get my phone connected to the projector, and I did. And I actually taught the entire class right here from my phone. I even added listings, added photos, and submitted to my listing. So I have not encountered something that you cannot do on your phone versus you can on a tablet or a laptop there. So that's a huge, huge benefit there. Something else we like to pride ourselves on with Matrix is the speed of it. For those that have been using this, hopefully you've noticed how much faster it is than Rapatoni. I'm hoping, okay? I've been hearing wonderful things. I've never really used Rapatoni that much, so kind of keep that in mind. I've been getting a lot of questions. Well, Rapatoni, you could do this. How do you do it in Matrix? I'm getting there. I just don't speak Rapatoni. I speak Matrix. And any members of RIST up in Troy, okay, they have Fusion. That's our core logic product. I speak Fusion too, okay? I just don't speak Rapatoni. We're trying to get RIST to go with Matrix also, by the way, just to let you know. And hopefully they will. We'll see how that plays out. But so keep that in mind. We'll try to keep this as simple as possible. We'll go over a lot of the basics, and then after our break halfway through, then we'll get a little bit more and more build upon the basics of what I just taught you in the first half here. So the first thing I'd like to do is introduce you to the home screen here, just so you know where everything's located at. I've already showed you all these tabs here at the top, but there's really only 3 tabs that you need to focus on, especially at the beginning, maybe a 4th one, okay? But the 3 tabs is the home tab, that's one. Second one is the search tab here, which is very important. You're going to be searching for your listings and stuff like that, okay? So home and search. And the 3rd tab is My Matrix. Please just focus on those 3 ones. My Matrix is where you find things, okay? It's where you find your contacts, find your listings, find your auto emails and saved searches, find your CMAs or sent emails. It's where you find everything. Because we're going to be doing searching here, and you're going to save those searches. And you're going to want to know how to pull them back up. Well, you find them under My Matrix. So those are the 3 core tabs. Now, does anyone know where the 4th one might be? Inputs. Input is where you go to add or modify listings. Okay, make price changes and stuff like that. Some of you may not add or modify listings. You might have someone in your office do it. So in your case, you wouldn't have to worry about that one. But others, yeah, input. And if we have time at the end, I'll be glad to go through input really, really quick there. So we'll see how that goes there too. Okay. But all these extra ones, finance, stats, market reports, links, and help, you can use those and play with them, but they're not really part of the core foundation of what you need to do on a daily basis. Okay? And you won't have admin. I'm special, so I get admin. So be nice to me. Under help. Help, I do want to point your direction here because we do have some training videos underneath help. Matrix training videos. The very first several of these are training videos done from our national trainer. So they're not using DABR's website out there. Okay, they're just using a generic one across the country. But the functionality of it's still basically the same thing. So please watch those. But these ones down here, the last 5 down here, activating imported searches, adding, modifying a listing. These are all good ones that we have done for your account only. In fact, I did these videos about 5 minutes long, and I would encourage you to answer them. I will be creating some more videos out there for you guys. Okay? I do want to introduce this last one down here. I've been getting a lot of questions on this one. How clients use their portal. As you know, when you use the system and email listings to your clients, very similar to Rapatoni, they have a portal that they open it up and they see all the properties that you've ever sent them. Well, what they need to do is start saving them or rejecting them or leaving you notes. Does that sound familiar to Rapatoni? Okay. Very same thing. It's a different portal though. So I created this 5-minute video here on how your clients use the portal. You could watch it, but what you also could do is when you click on it, it takes you to YouTube here. I'm going to pause it. Copy that address and maybe paste it into your emails to your clients. Say, look, if you need extra help, we got a little 5-minute video that Keith will show you how to use the portal out there. And maybe that will help you with your clients, okay? But I just want to show that out there. It's under the Help tab. And then it's under Matrix training video tutorials. And then the bottom ones are the ones I've done. But watch any of these if they pertain to something that you want to know. Okay? And we have other training questions and tips here too. But just getting back to the basics, homepage, search, and My Matrix is what you need to really focus on, and that's what we're going to focus on today. So that's 95, if not more, percent of what you need to do. Now, here on the home page, there are some tabs or some little boxes or widgets, like a hot sheet. As you know, you can move these around, and you can move them around in Rapatoni too, right? Move them around, kind of leave them where you like them at. So if you're seeing yours and they're not exactly the same area that I have mine, that's fine, because you can move these around. We have a search one, hot sheet, market watch. We typically get into the hot sheet and the market watch in the second class, the more of matrix there. Okay. And we also have this over here on the right-hand side, external links. External links just takes you out to extra sites, the Montgomery County, all the tax record sites. The MLS maps you can look for each county is broken down here for you. And your showing time and things like that are over here. Okay? But there's a few over here I'd like to introduce you that are kind of cool that Rapatoni really didn't have. The first one I want to talk about is called a Concierge. For those that are following me either on your computer or your cell phone, and you know what? Back in the day, I could tell when people were bored because they were playing on their cell phone, doing texting or playing games. Now you're on your cell phone. I can't tell if you're following me or you're texting or playing games on there. So, but hey, look, it's your time, so you guys use it how you like it. Yes, ma'am.
Quick question.
Yeah.
You said go to mobile. Then what else did you
once you log in, no, down at the bottom of mobile should be a link to say full sites. So scroll down, you should see a link to full site. See it down there? Because, yeah, this is not the mobile version. Right. Mobile version is really simplified. You can't do everything on the mobile version, but you can on the full site. Do you see it down there? And sometimes you turn it sideways, or okay, you got it. Okay, good. Okay.
I don't see concierge on.
Right. I was about to ask that. I said, who? I was going to ask, who sees concierge on your homepage? Anyone? Well, for $20 a month, we can no. No, it's not a charge. Okay. Someone asked after class. I said that one time. So who do I make that check out to? I said, well, here's my business card. Just, I'll make sure it gets credit. No, you do not have the concierge until you need it. Okay. And what the concierge is a auto prospecting search. You guys know what an auto prospecting search is? Just like in Rapatoni, when you save your search, have it set up to email your client new matches as soon as they come on the market, or price change or status change, right? Well, a concierge, we will not send it to them first. We alert you. So right here, Calvin Klein's got 5 listings waiting for my approval. Calvin Klein is one of those clients that must have a kitchen with white kitchen cabinets. Do you guys know the type? Okay. Well, before I send him anything and everything, because I don't know how to search the MLS for white kitchen cabinets. Do you guys? Okay. So the only way I know is to set up everything else on his criteria, his price range, his area, his bedrooms, bathrooms, whatever. I'll save it, and before it goes to him, I want to look at to make sure they have white kitchen cabinets, because I want him to know that I'm listening to him. So now, what I do, I just click on Calvin Klein's name. Here's those 5 listings that are waiting for me to approve or reject. And I just need to look at the pictures. And it could be a most beautiful home, but if it doesn't have white kitchen, and that's a pretty nice house too. Nice hardwood floors, look at that. Is this anyone's listing in here? Okay. Yes, ma'am.
May I go back and add that to the portals I've already created?
Say that again?
Can I go back and add those to the portals I've already created?
Yeah, absolutely. And let me address that. Watch this. Now see, it doesn't have white kitchen cabinets. So should I approve this or reject it? Reject it. So I'm going to select it and I'm going to reject it. If it had white kitchen cabinets and I want to put this on Calvin Klein's portal, is that what your question was?
No, because actually I already have created some portals, but I didn't choose concierge because I didn't know.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
So I can go back and do it.
No. You know what? And I get this question a lot because I think Rapatoni did the portals differently than how we do it. Okay? This is a very common question. I'm glad you asked that. Anytime you email listings to your client, they're on their portal. Okay? Have you emailed those listings to your client?
No.
Okay, if you haven't emailed it to them, just email to them. That's all you do to get it on their portal. Okay? Whether it's part of the auto email that sends it to them, or it's just a regular old email, either way you send listings to your client, they get on their portal. When I rejected that listing, do you think that went on his portal? No, because I rejected it. What if I select it and I approve it? He gets an email, and guess what? It's on his portal. So, no matter if you're using a concierge and you approve that listing, or you have an auto email set up for Calvin Klein and have it automatically go to him, it's on his portal.
And now can I go back to his portal that I created 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And change it and add concierge to it?
Oh, you could.
Yeah.
So if you already got an auto email set up,
Right.
and it's been emailing him without you looking at it,
Yeah.
sure, you can turn it into a concierge mode. I'll remember to show that to you. Okay? Very, very good point. But, because I think in Rapatoni you had a choice. Put it on their portal or not. Send it to them on their portal or send it outside of their portal here. Okay? Here, you send it to them, it's on their portal. Okay? It's a consolidation, so that way you don't have to remember. Because I think that would be kind of confusing, personally. Thinking, have I put this on their portal? Have I not? Well, you'll see if I've emailed it to them, it's on their portal. Okay? Keep it real simple like that. Okay. So that's the concierge. Okay? Let me show you real quick. Okay, here's a basic searching method. I'm going to show it to you rather quickly. I'm going to do a search for Calvin Klein I want to show you how I put that there. All I did was start with search. Okay, step 1. Step 2, enter his criteria. Active, single family. I'll just pick Huber Heights School District, since I live in Huber. Price range, I'll say 100 to 200. We'll cover this part again, okay, how I'm doing searching here, because I'm sure you might have some questions on this, so kind of bear with me on this part. He wants 3 to 5 bedrooms and 2 to 4 bathrooms. Let's reduce this price down to 150 maybe. Okay. And so I did my criteria. All I need to do, I can go to map and map these listings if I want to, or I can go to results and see the 55 listings. Bottom line is, I'm happy with this search. If I need to reduce that price range, I can go back to criteria and make it maybe 125 instead. And now when I do it, I've got 26 listings instead of 55, but now I'm satisfied. I want to save this search for my client. How do I save it? Anyone know? Use the save button right down here at the bottom. We'll see this again and again and again, because this is fundamental stuff that we all need to know. So I go down here from actions to save, and do I want to save it as a search or new auto email? Do you guys know what the difference is? Probably not, because most of you haven't been in this class, so let me explain the difference here. If I save it as a search, it's not running, it's not auto prospecting, hence the word auto email here. These are not auto emailing, these are auto emailing. Okay? They're both a save search because it's under the save category, but this is an inactive search, and that's an active prospecting search. So think of auto emails as an active search, which would make save search an inactive search, right? And you'll notice here again at the top, remember my matrix I said we're going to have to remember? We have auto emails and we have save searches. Well, these are your actively prospecting searches, and these are your non-prospecting searches. Okay? So in order for that to be in a concierge mode, it must be an auto prospecting search. It must be an auto email. Because if it's a save search, it's not sending it to anyone, is it? Because it's off. So I want to say this is an auto email. And the question is, my first question is, who is this for? Well, if I look up here, and let's say I decide to do this for Chuck. Is Chuck in my list? Actually, yes. Chuck and pot roast is right here. Okay? Now, if Chuck and pot roast was not in my list, I just had him over for dinner last night too, so, okay. Sorry about that. Create a new contact. If they weren't in my list, I could add them right here. In Rapatoni, didn't you always have to add the client first and then do so? You don't have to. I could add them first, or I could do it now. You don't have to do it first like you did in Rapatoni. Okay? But they're already in my list, so do I need to add them again? No. So now I'm just going to go down here and call this search Huber Heights. Come down here. There's a welcome and a recurring email. We'll talk about that later. Come down here. Do I want them to get these ASAP as soon as they come on the market? Once a day or twice a day? Or do I want to enable the concierge mode? Watch what happens when I enable the concierge mode. My schedule down here will disappear. Okay, because when it's in the concierge mode, is it emailing it to them first? No. It's alerting me first. In fact, there's a link here, or a box that says, also send me an alert notification that there's something for me to approve for them. Okay? So when I do this, it is not sending this to Chuck first. It's letting me know first before it goes to him. If it's not check marked, now I can say, just send it to Chuck, let him look at it. I think that most of the time we'll probably do it that way, right? Just send it to them, let them work. Because if I put it in the concierge mode, that's a little extra work on my behalf, because now I have to look at it and go through it. Some agents love to do this all the time. They'll do this for all their clients. So they like that control, or they like to make sure what's sending it out to their clients, which is not a bad idea. But some say, just send it to them. Let them look at it. Okay, if I was your client, I don't even know what I want, let alone expect you to know what I'm looking for. I'd want you to just send me everything. So that's your decision there. So when I enable that concierge mode and I save it, it's going to take me straight to those list of houses for me to start approving or rejecting. And here they are. And now I can just select them and reject them or approve them. And when I go back to my home page, see now I've got one here for Chuck and one for Calvin. Now, do they ever change their mind? They do? Wow, okay. No, they do all the time. They'll probably change their mind in 5 minutes from now, right? So, what I can do, I told Calvin that he can always paint those cabinets himself, and he says, no, I don't want to do that. Well, after 2 or 3 months, he's starting to realize I'm not emailing him a lot of listings because there's not a lot of white kitchen cabinets. So he comes back to me and says, okay, I guess you're right. I can just paint those cabinets. Well, 2 months later, I click on this. I can see that there's 24 that I have rejected. Okay? So when I reject those, we keep track of all the ones I've rejected him. But if it's no longer on the market, it won't be in this list. As long as it's still on the market, I can go back and unreject it and approve it for him. So that would be kind of mean to show him some houses that he could have bought, but it's too late, they're sold now, right? Okay. Yes, ma'am?
Does it show what he rejects as well?
Yes, but that wouldn't be in a concierge mode. Right, but yes, you're correct. You know, because absolutely. Because once I do approve some listings and it goes to him on his portal, he can reject them, right? Yeah, absolutely. You can see not just the rejected, but the ones he's saved also, or left notes, just like in Rapatoni. So yes, you can.
So when you pull those back up, if there's been a price change,
as long as it still meets the criteria. So this is the live up to the second criteria. So as long as it's still meeting his criteria, if it dropped down to like 99,000, it wouldn't be in here if he was looking for 100 to 150, right? Because it's dropped out of that. Right. But as long as it still meets his criteria, it'll still be here for me to unreject. So that's the concierge. Some of you will say, you know what, that's great, but I will never want to do that because I'm always going to send it to my clients and let them look at it. That's fine. But might be a moment where you might need that to where you can kind of pre-approve it before it goes to them. So that's what that is. So we just did a search. Just one more recap here. We just did a search, put in some criteria here. I'll pick Fairborn this time. Price range, 125 bedrooms, 4 or more. Went to results, hit save, and I saved it as a new auto email. And then down here, I linked it to the client. I gave it a name for them. Came down here. This sends it to them. This will alert you first, and you can do. Now, right up here at the top, I don't know if I really stressed this, but BCC yourself. Do you want a blank carbon copy yourself on these? Okay, and that's your choice if you want to do that too. Okay, I'll hit cancel. So that's the concierge mode. And you notice each time I just come right back to the home tab, our starting base, or a starting point here. So that's the concierge. You don't have it until you actually save one as an auto email and put it in a concierge mode. The next one I'd like to show you is recent portal visitors. So as you email listings to your clients, whether it's you're approving it in a concierge mode, you're manually emailing listings to them, or you're doing the auto email. Whenever emails get sent to your clients, they all get stuck right there on their portal. Okay? So as you send things to your clients, so if I keep sending things to Calvin Klein or Chuck, and I never see their name pop up here, are they opening up those emails and looking at them? No. So I've been doing this for 3 months now for Calvin, and I still haven't seen his name up here. So he's not serious, okay? So I'm just wasting my time with him. So as soon as the client opens that link that's in that email, it takes them to their portal, like my dad's portal here. I can see he last looked at it on January 22nd, last week sometime. He saved, see the hearts and the light bulb there? That means, because in Rapatoni, you either saved a property or rejected it, right? We actually have 2 saves. Save it as a favorite or save it as a possibility. The heart is a favorite. That means they really, really like this one. The light bulb means they're thinking about it. It's a possibility, okay? So it's 2 different levels. Or they can reject it. And if they had left, either my dad or Janelle has left notes for me on any properties, you would see a little notepad right next to this too, meaning that they left you a note. And that little person right here is their portal, is a back door into me taking a look at my dad's portal. So let me show the portal real quick to you. And remember, we have that 5-minute video that will introduce you to the portal too. So this is my portal. It's got my little banner at the top here with my picture. There's actually 2 pages here, a welcome and a properties tab. Okay? The welcome page is the consolidation of everything. Here's all the manual emails or direct emails, not part of that auto prospecting email. These are all the manual ones I did. So he can pull them back up right here. He doesn't have to hold on to them in his email to check them, because we're holding on to it for him here. Here's all those notes on those listings that either me or him have left each other. Okay? Here's the 3 searches I have for my dad. Okay? I've got one for his neighborhood, part of Huber Heights where he lives at, so he can kind of see what's coming on the market, what's selling, what's changing price, because he's thinking about selling his house, so he's thinking about, he just wants to see the activity that's going on. And then he's looking to buy a new house, so he's got one down here for Forest Ridge in a certain part of Huber Heights in here. I think that was the one I just saved. No, I saved that one earlier, yesterday. So now these are his 3 auto searches that he told me he wanted to search. And he can do his own searching right here. If he doesn't like that, he can do his own, isn't it?
When you have multiple searches like that, and you go to set up like the second one, I ran into that it said, well, the person's already a contact.
You don't have to, okay, and that's a very common question. If I go do a 4th search for my dad, watch this. If I go do a 4th search for my dad, now all of a sudden he wants to live in, he's thinking about Fairborn, since it's at the top of my list there. And he tells me his price range, 100 to 150. Bedrooms, 4 or more, or we'll just say 3 or more, that's fine. And I go to results, and I save this as a new auto email. Do I have to add my dad again? Don't add the client again and again. You only needed to add the client. So my question is, did you go up here and try to create that contact one more time? Because if I did, and I forget, I think I gave him my Yahoo email address.
No, I didn't try and create it, but how do you have it as a separate, totally different search?
Right.
That's what.
Okay. See, right here gave me a message. I've already got this contact and email address. So my question is, did you try to add that same person in there a second time? Because I've already got my dad in here, right there. So I don't need to create him again. I just pick him. But now, we'll call this one Fairborn. Okay, we'll call it Fairborn. Come down here and save it. And now when I go back to my dad's portal here, let me see if I can refresh this. It might need a few more minutes to come in here. But there will be a Fairborn one right here. That's how you do that. So my question is, did it say that you can't do it because you were trying to add the contact the second time, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
It said that, but I still
Or-
wasn't sure of how to name the different ones.
Yeah, and I think be specific on your names, because like here, even if my dad had 2 Huber Heights searches, you might want to name them differently, because that might have been another thing you were doing. You were calling it the same exact thing that you already have a search for, and maybe that's why it was preventing you. So if this part is Huber Heights South and the other one is Huber Heights North, call this one Huber Heights South and the other one Huber Heights North. And this is Forest Ridge and stuff. Yes, ma'am.
Keith, will that distinguish for the client?
Yep.
When they go into their portal, they'll have a...
Absolutely. That's why you want to name them something different, but yet you want to be unique also. So when they see my neighborhood, I think that's pretty obvious. It's his neighborhood, right? I could call it comparables to your house, whatever. This is the area he's looking for in Forest Ridge. This is the area in Huber Heights. And any moment now, I should see a Forest Ridge or a Fairborn one in here too. Now, yes?
If you go to auto email, that person's name will show up 4 times.
Absolutely. Watch this. When I go to my matrix, auto emails, Jack Hensley, Jack Hensley, Jack Hensley, Jack Hensley. One contact, but 4 different searches. See, Fairborn, Forest Ridge. One client. Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Does the client have the ability to change their own information?
Not on my searches that I did. No, they can do their own searching and save it. Yes, but they cannot mess up mine here. Yes, ma'am.
To delete those auto searches, like you just put the wrong things in, or like what I did, I forgot to just pick active, so I have all the sold from years
Well,
ago.
do you want to delete that, or do you just want to modify it?
No, I'd like to just delete it and start fresh.
Okay, sure. Back here, remember I said where you find everything? It's under My Matrix. Now there's two places I can find those 4 searches for my dad. I could go to Auto Emails. Here they are. Put a check mark next to the one I want to delete and say delete right there. And then start over fresh. Or click on it, go to criteria, and then add what statuses I like. That's up to you. Yes, ma'am.
Are they going into MLS completely?
Are they going into MLS completely?
Yeah,
when they do
their
this
own
search here,
search.
when they do that search, their own search.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, they're not getting into Matrix, no. But we have a public type search. They won't see the listing agent's name and number because they're on your website.
Okay.
But yeah, for the most part, yeah, they are seeing live stuff. It's more live here than if they went out to Realtor.com or Trulia, because they get it pulled from us. We give it to them. Here, they're getting it straight from the horse's mouth. Right. Okay. Now, like I said, there's 2 tabs up here, the Welcome and the Properties tab. This Properties tab is the very first tab they see when they first come in here. And if they scroll down, they'll see all the properties you've ever sent them here. Okay? And that welcome video, like I said, will explain this. Now, they are seeing first, they will see the thumbnail view. Up here, they can change it. They can say, I just want to look at the Huber Heights search, or just my neighborhood search, or just my Forest Ridge search. And remember, we should have a Fairborn search in there any moment now. So they can decide which ones they want to look at. Here are individual emails that I've sent them back in January, back in November, and they can just click on those and see what listings I sent them then. So as you have multiple searches, that's the first thing I introduce them on that video, is that you can change to whatever search you want to focus on. Or you can leave it on all and look at all your properties all at one page if you like. There's a display here, so if they don't like the thumbnail view, they can change it to the single line, or they can change it to a booklet view. I kind of like the booklet view. Shows them more listings up front here. Okay. They can change it to a full detail view, which is 1 listing per page. And they can kind of scroll through and look at it this way too. Okay. Or they can split it with the map on one side and a thumbnail on the other side here. Okay. But either way, either view they have, what the next step that you need to encourage them, and the video encourages them, is if they like this house, save it as a favorite or save it as a possibility. That's going to help you, and it's going to help them. Remember, they're tagging it. And if they don't like it, tell them to reject it. Okay? If they reject it, when they come back to this listing, it won't be here. It'll be over here in their trash can. If they save it as a favorite or a possibility, it'll be right here. And then they can hit the notepad and see why they don't like this house or why they do. Maybe they drove by this one the other day and just didn't like the neighborhood or the curb appeal on it. Well, they can leave themselves notes as to why they liked it or not. Okay? So that's, and here's another way they can do their own searching too. But it's either on the welcome tab or the properties. But the properties is the first page they see when you email them. The most recent ones you send them are always on top up here. And as they scroll down, they start seeing the ones you sent them yesterday, and then the day before, and then last week. They get older and older. But tell them to start saving it or rejecting it, because they'll keep seeing this one on Dobbin Circle, and they say, "Why do you keep saying it?" Well, it's part of your list. If you don't like it, just reject it there. Okay? Otherwise, it will stay here until it sells or drops off the criteria. Yes, ma'am.
And the notepad, when they make a note, we see it on our end?
Yes, right up here. There would be a little notepad right here next to it. We're working on a way to have you say, well, also email me if they leave a note. Okay, I think Rapatoni had that feature. Right now, you just have to look up here for the note, but we're working on a way that they can email you too when they do that, which I think is wonderful. Okay. Okay, so that's the portal. I think that Fairborn search is on here now. See right there, Fairborn? A lot of you didn't think that would happen, but I told you it would work. Huber Heights. So just think, do they really want those 4 different areas, or just keep it simple with one search and have them all there? I kind of like, if they're looking in different areas, I kind of like to make them separate. Me, personally. But you can put them all in one search if you like. Just how you want to do that there. Okay?
Is this basically the same as a car, it's just titled differently? Is it basically like a car?
Well, kind of, yes, but no.
Okay.
Yes, but maybe, but not, no. Because people, and here again, and that's the next thing the last thing on this homepage I want to talk about is the carts. Okay? Not really sure how Rapatoni worked with the carts and did it, okay? Just because I emailed those listings to my dad and they're on his portal, are they on his carts? No. Just because I put it on his portal don't mean it's on the cart. The cart is for me, the portal is for them. Okay? So in a way, yes, it is a cart for your client. For them, the portal is like a cart, but a cart is like a folder for me. So, 2 separate things. Okay? Carts, which I put listings in my dad's cart, and in a portal, I put listings on his portal. Portal means what I've emailed him, what his criteria produces. So that leads the question, why would I put listings in my dad's cart for? If I want him to see it, I would just email it to him, which puts it on his portal. Here's how I like to use the cart. Every time I go and show my dad properties, I'll put it in his cart. It's like a folder. So now I'm keeping track of all the houses I've ever showed my dad. So 2 months later, he says, "Did we ever see that one on Stonebridge?" Well, I'm not sure. Let me click on it. Look at it. Stonebridge. Hey, my memory's pretty good. I remembered it. Okay, Stonebridge. Yes, I emailed it to you on October 22nd, and you saved it as a possibility. And let's see what kind of notes. Showed nice new carpet, but rooms were on the small side. Okay? So not only did I show it to you on October 22nd, I left your comments there. And look, it's still active too. It's still on the market. Where this one down here, he saved as a possibility, but it's expired now. Okay? Some of these he saved as a favorites. So just because I put these listings in his carts, and watch this. Let's say I emailed him this listing. Let's say 700 111. That's an MLS number, and I search for it. It's on Trevillo Road. I think he might like this one. So what I do, I put a check mark here and I email it to him. I go in here and I pick my dad's name, I hit 2, I hit OK, and I send it to him. Okay? Now he comes back to me later, says, oh, can we go see that listing? I really like that. Let's go see it. Okay. So what I do, I just do a search for that listing again. And by the way, I want to introduce you to your next best friend, your recent searches. You guys know we remember your 50 most recent searches up here. So what I can do is pull it up by my recent search, because that was my last search that I just ran, and there that listing is. So now he wants to go see it. Okay, that means I want to throw it into his cart. So I check mark it, go to carts, I open this up, and I pick my dad's cart. And let me test you on this. He's got 7 listings in his cart, and I add one more. How many listings will he have? Come on, you guys know that. 8, right? Okay. Okay. Just want to see who's paying attention. Okay. So now he has 8 listings. Now he has 8 listings in his cart. Okay. You guys thought it was a much deeper question than that, didn't you? Okay. So I've got 8 listings in my dad's cart now. So I click on that cart after the showing. I come back, and now that we're done, that was on Truvillo Road. Well, I can see that I emailed it today. I might want to leave a note as to what he thought about it. So I'm going to put a check mark or a note here, and I'm going to say showed on 1/26/16 and didn't have a fenced in yard for Muffy to play in. Well, he's either got a dog named Muffy, or that's what he calls his girlfriend Muffy. Either way, he's looking for a fence. Wait a minute, that's my dad I'm talking about. What am I talking about? Yes, ma'am.
Keith, did that automatically go into his portal?
Yeah, just by me emailing it to him.
Just because he's
Yep.
the contact?
Yep. Yep.
How would you know which portal? I mean,
His portal. He only has one portal.
I thought he had 4.
He has 4 searches, right?
Okay.
But one portal. Absolutely. This is where I think a lot of the confusion from Rapatoni is.
Yeah.
Let me open my dad's portal here. And I go to properties. Notice that one on Truvillo is on top. But here's all the listings. He doesn't have 4 separate portals. Remember up here? Here's his Fairborn search. Here's his Huber Heights one. Here's his neighborhood. He's got one portal, one site. He can bookmark this as a favorite. Everything I've ever sent him gets stuck to this one portal.
All
Absolutely.
all
One
same.
portal.
Okay.
Rapatoni, they had one portal, didn't they?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
So in order to see that individual that you sent, since it's not part of one of your already selected
Absolutely.
searches, you would have to look at all to see it.
Well, that's one way. One way. Yeah, good question. He said that Truvillo, since it wasn't part of his Fairborn search, it won't be here. Since it wasn't part of his Huber Heights search, it won't be there. Since it wasn't part of his neighborhood search, wasn't there, and it won't be under Forest Ridge either. So it's either under all, which was the last one I sent him, or if I scroll down, it'd be in there, or his cross property search that I sent. Now I should have, when I went to email that, I didn't put a subject line in there. I probably should have done that. I should have called it maybe 3450 Truvillo, or I should have called it some, properties for you to look at, or some. I should have named it something, because otherwise it just says cross property.
All right.
But if I click on it, guess what the listing it is? Truvillo. I've also sent him one 4 days ago, Golf Manor. Also sent, and I should have called that one Golf Manor. Should have called this one Cold Springs, but I did. But that was a fault of mine.
All right. Makes
But
sense.
yeah, okay. So the portal is a consolidation of everything gets sent there, so they don't miss
Is
anything.
that because it has different criteria? You changed
Yeah.
the criteria so you wouldn't have normally had gotten.
Yeah, because I saw Truvillo and it wasn't in Huber Heights or Fairborn or in Forest Ridge. It was close. So I don't even know where it was at, honestly. Let's say it's in Vandalia, but I thought it met every other criteria need perfectly, except for the location. I thought, well, he might be interested in this. Right, absolutely. Okay.
Alright.
Yes.
The note you put on there that you showed it, that
Uh-huh.
goes to him as well?
It's on his portal. So if he comes down here, see right here, showed on didn't have a fenced-in yard for Muppy to play in. And if I go to properties and I look at it here, didn't have a fenced-in yard for Muppy to play in. So yes, they do see it. So keep it friendly. Okay. Don't talk about their bad breath or things like that. Now, does he get an email saying that I put something there? No. Okay. So if it's important enough that I need to see him, I might want to put the note there and email him just to let you know that. Okay.
But then he could send you a note back.
Absolutely, he could reply. And the only way I see it right now is if I look up here and see it. But hopefully we'll have that set up to where we'll email you whenever they leave you a note there. Okay. Hopefully that's soon. I don't know where it's on our radar to pull that in. But yeah, just get in the habit of looking up here. All right, good questions. So carts. Let's just wrap this up here. So just because I put listings in his cart doesn't mean he can see it. I've got 10 listings in Mary Kay's cart. So let me click on it. Can she see these listings on her portal? No. Why? You know why? Because I've never emailed these to her. That's the secret. If I've emailed it, yes, she can see it on, because I'm under Mary Kay's cart. So she cannot see these on her portal because I've never emailed it to them. So does that mean I can make a note and say whatever I want without her worrying about seeing it? Making a nasty note? Yeah, I can, but don't do that. What if 2 months later I accidentally email that to her and then she sees that note, okay? So that's the secret. I might have thrown it in her cart, but if I've never emailed it to her, she can't see it on her portal. And if I emailed it to her, she can see it on her portal, but have I added to the cart? They're two totally separate things, okay? And like I said, I don't know how Rapatoni did that or operate, but it's really that cut and dry with us. Yes, ma'am.
When it comes to risk, though, none of this works.
Very similar concept. In Risk, we didn't have a cart. On the Fusion, is that what you're talking about? Yeah, okay. In Fusion, we have a folder. That's it. No carts whatsoever for people. Right, we have one folder. Here, you got a folder or a cart for every client. So yes, you're right. It's kind of not the same from there. Now, someone will ask me on the carts, because I think in Rapatoni, you can just go and create a cart, right? Just name it whatever. How you get carts in Matrix, you have to add them to your contact list. So if they're in your contact list, they have a cart. If they're not in your contact list, they don't have a cart. Okay? So that's a little different from Rapatoni, what I hear, because there you can make multiple carts. Yes, ma'am.
Question for you, kind of related. If we have a contact that saves favorites, lots of them every day,
yeah.
We get an email for every single one she saves.
Well, right now you don't get an email.
We do.
Oh, you do?
We do.
How do you get that email? Do they email it to you?
No, it must be a setting. So what? We'd like to turn that off.
No. Right now, because remember this recent portal settings up there? That right now, because I think I mentioned someone else in there, just because they add a favorite or a card, we don't email it to you. Not yet.
We get it. It says her name's Melanie. Melanie saved a favorite or something.
Really? And that's in Matrix.
Yeah.
Talk to me at class at break. Because we should have a little toggle up here where you should go in and say, yes, when they leave me a note, email me. When they save it as a favorite, email me. You're not a member of Risk, are you? Okay.
Maybe she's emailing them all to us.
That's all I can think of. That's all I can think of. But I like to look at that. Anyone else getting emails like that when clients save it as a favorite or no? Okay. So that's something we haven't set up yet.
She must be sending them.
Yeah, because she can email them to you, all right. But why would she? I don't know.
I don't know why.
Yeah, good point.
All right.
Interesting. But yeah, right now, no, you should not be getting those messages unless you want to, and there should be a little settings. But until we have that settings, you shouldn't be getting that, right? Yeah, interesting. Okay. Good timing. Now watch this. Searching. Okay, let's just get into some basics of searching. Well, I introduced you to this little search widget up here. Okay, you can toggle it from a listing search to an open house search. That's kind of new in the last several weeks. So if you've got an open house you want to search for, like coming up this weekend, you can go in here and pick it. Or a listing search. And here listing, you type in MLS number, street name, and stuff like that. Okay? I don't really use this one that much. If I did use it, I think I would use it for the open house search. I don't think I would use it for the other search. Let me say why. Because we've got this little thing up here called a speed bar. Have you guys ever noticed that speed bar up there? Have you ever used it yet? Watch this. What the speed bar up here is for, I can type in an MLS number, hit enter, and there's my listing. I can do a comma or a space, and type in, oops, I thought that was a space, but that was an N I put there. Okay, type in as many MLS numbers as you want. Okay? And hit enter. Notice the speed of how fast they come back to. There's the listings right there. So that's the first thing you can use the speed bar for, just type in the MLS numbers. You're saying, well, big deal. I can do that on my homepage right here, right? Well, what if you're not on the homepage? What if you're under My Matrix or Stats or under Search? You got your speed bar at the top of every page, no matter what you do. Okay? So MLS number is one thing you can do in there. Something else you can do is, I think that was 3045 Truvillo. Was that right? And I can do an ad, and it must not have been the right address there. Well, let's say, I'm not sure. I thought it was 3045 Truvillo. Just let me do Truvillo. Got 31 listings on Truvillo. Now, 3450. Okay, got the numbers transposed there a little bit. Okay? But watch this. I can do just a street name, space, A. What's A for? Active. Hit enter. There's only one active listing on Truvillo. There it was. I did mess up on the number. Okay, it's 3450. I always do Taylorsville. Popular road in Huber Heights. I do it. There's 367 listings on Taylorsville. But I just do a space A for actives. There's only 5 active ones in Huber. 2 office, 1 industrial, 1 land, and 1 single family. Notice the quickness, the speed of how fast this came back in. Okay? That's something else you can do. Watch this one. See if you can tell me what this means. A, res, 200-300- Huber Heights. What's that mean? Okay, one more time from the start. Active residential 200, 300,000 Huber Heights. All right, I didn't think you guys would actually do that, but good. Hit search. There you go. There's 18 listings that are active residential between that price range and Huber Heights. Instead of RES, what if I did SF?
Single family.
Oh my gosh, you guys are good. How about CON?
Commercial.
Condo. COM is commercial, right? Okay? So very, very cool. You can do that stuff there. Instead of Huber Heights, I can do Huber Heights space Vandalia. Now I got Huber Heights and Vandalia. Huber Heights, Vandalia, space Inglewood. If I can spell Inglewood. There we go. Now, the order does not matter how you type this in. I could have done 200, 300,000 first, and then all the Huber Heights, Vandalia, Inglewood. And then after Inglewood, I could have said A, and then I could have said SF. So the order does not matter, except when you do multiple city names. If you do one and you want a second and or a third, they do need to follow each other with a space or a comma after each cell. So I couldn't say Huber Heights and their price range and then Vandalia. That would mess it up. Okay? Instead of this, let's do this. Let's do 45424 space 45377. You can do zip codes instead of area numbers. Okay? Yes, sir.
Can you do like a township versus a city?
Yes.
Like Beaver
That's
Creek
actually-
Township or Beaver Creek City?
That's actually a municipality field. So you can do Washington Township in there. Whatever, when you do a residential search and you get to this field called municipality, that's what we're taking in here. So Beaver Creek or Beaver Creek Township, absolutely. You just have to spell out township and just say Beaver Creek if you want the city. But if it's in a municipality field, that's how you can search for it. Okay? So it's actually not city, it's actually municipality there. Okay? And guess what? You can use the back button here. So let me use the back button and bring back my stuff up here. So you can do multiple zip codes, just like city, they have to follow each other. And one last thing, 471, 472, 473, what's this? Area numbers, MLS area numbers. Hit search, and it searches that way too. Same rule, they have to follow each other if you have multiple ones in there. Other than that, you can type it in any order that you like. Okay, here's the test. Who can tell me what 3 plus 2 is?
Three or more beds, 2 baths.
No, what else? 3 plus 2 is 5.
You've got
Come on, you guys. Where'd you
got
guys go
3
to?
plus space 2.
I know, I'm joking. Yes, you're right. He's correct. He's correct. 3 plus 2. You guys didn't think that was funny. Okay. I've been doing this a while. It's my sick sense of humor. Yeah. 3 or more bedrooms, space, exactly 2 total baths. Okay? So when I do my search, I got 3 or more bedrooms, but exactly 2 total baths. Now, it just happens to be 2 and 0, 2 and 0, but it could have been a 1 and 1. Okay? What if I said 3 plus 2 plus? Now it's 2 or more total baths. 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 1. Got it? Okay. So yes, absolutely. If I said 3 space 2 plus, that means exactly 3, but 2 or more baths. Okay. I could have said 3-4. 3-4, and then 2-4. 2-4. Okay. If I don't do the 2-4 and I just leave the 3-4 in there, that just talks about bedrooms. I can care less about baths. Okay. And one last thing, I can do 1500-2000 SQFT, square feet. Okay. Now, we have a little question mark right here. And it'll kind of explain all the shortcut codes that I just told you about. Okay? So you just look at that. There's another way I'll show you here in a second that you can do this. But you can do this also. You can do AG. What do you think AG means? Agents, right. I can see agriculture, but it's agent.
Well, back to your bedroom, bathroom.
Yeah.
You can only use bedroom, bathroom.
In
You
that-
can do bedroom individually, but bathroom, you have to
can't
do
do
bedroom,
individual,
bathroom.
right? Absolutely. So in that case,
That has to be in combination.
I would say 0 plus and then 2 whatever. So 0 plus would be the bedrooms, meaning don't care about the bedroom. You just
Okay,
want
so
everything.
0 says give me everything.
0 plus
Okay.
means everything.
Yeah.
0 means no bedrooms, right?
All right,
So don't
yeah.
do that. Don't do that. Yes, ma'am.
I'm confused about the price range, plus or minus. Where does the minus come in?
Well, when I did active res, it's 200-300. It's really a dash. It's a range of 200-300.
Okay, but if you remove the 300, then it'll give you everything 200 or under.
Well, if I do 2, absolutely, you're right. If I say 200 minus, now that dash is technically a minus, but now you're talking about 200 or below. The same way of writing that would be this way, 0-200. That makes more sense to you? Do 0-200. So that's my range between $0 and 200, and it's in thousands behind the scenes.
It's in hundreds or 50s. Can you do something like 220?
Yeah, if I do 220, Yeah, 220, that's 220,000.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, thank you, yeah. I just kind of kept it at the even numbers. I could have said I could say 220 to 250. Absolutely right. Okay, yes ma'am.
On that quick bar there, can you specify, like if someone wants just ranches?
I don't think so. We'll use that one here very shortly. And I'll show you how, if you're not sure if it can be done, I'll show you the way it can teach you to do it. So I'll use that one for my example there. Okay? If I said 200 plus on dollars, that means 200,000 or greater. 200 minus means 200,000 or less. So knowing that, what does 200 mean?
Exactly.
Exactly 200,000. That is different. You're going to see that when I get into the full search. It's going to operate the same logic, okay? So it's not like you have to learn one thing here and something else when you do a search. If you learn it here, you're going to learn it there. It's different from Rapatoni. Rapatoni, you had two boxes, blank and blank, right? You typed in 200 and you left the other one blank, it just means 200 or greater. You didn't have to use the plus sign there. Or if you said blank to 200, it means 0 to 200, and you didn't have to do that. So this is different from Rapatoni. We'll go through it again, but it's very fundamental that you know that. Yes, ma'am.
So if I leave out a dollar sign or a dash, and I don't know, I forget, I'm not going to get anything, correct?
That's correct. You'll
So
get this error message.
Where on here am I going to go to find out how I need to?
Well, that question mark is one thing.
Okay.
That's it, and you know what? You don't have to use the speed bar. You can still go to your regular old search residential and just do it that way.
Well, I mean, that's a great,
Oh, I think so too.
I think it's great, but I just want to know where I go, in this whole thing to find out what I'm leaving out so I can
Absolutely.
catch on and do it correctly.
Bob.
Is there a list of the shorthand?
Under that question mark right there,
Okay.
you can come down there and we give you the shorthand stuff. I think I'd like to do a video, not only put it under the help, but put it right up here that will walk you through it, a real quick video. But yeah, if you come down here, here's all the shortcuts. MLS number, there's your statuses, abbreviations, RES is residential, farm, multifamily, price, bedrooms. But I'm going to show you, just like she had a question about can you do ranches, like level stories. I'm going to show you another way that'll teach you how to do that also up there. Okay? And if that's too confusing, at least know you want to do an MLS number up there. That's easy to know. Just type in 700123. Or an address. Do it that way. Keep it simple and maybe build on that later. So does that really, do you have to master the speed bar now? No, not really. Just start learning it. Yes, sir.
Well, you'll probably get to this later, but one of the great features about the matrix system is every field that is fillable, if you hover,
right,
help text pops right out at you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is a phenomenal way to learn
absolutely
what works and what doesn't.
What he said is up here, when you go to regular search, you got these little question marks here. You just hover on top of it, and it kind of explains how to fill this in here. Okay? So a lot of these. So we have the question mark up here, which click there, and you got it kind of explains for you too on how to do that there too. So absolutely. So yeah, if you forget how to do the price range rhythm, like I said, I'll do a regular search, and it'll teach you how to do it also. Yes, ma'am.
Can you do basement up there in abbreviation?
No, but I'll show you. So this is just for speed, okay? MLS number, address, active, single family, price range, beds, bathrooms, area, zip codes, some basic stuff. Some of you will do this all the time. Some of you might think it's a little over your head. When I first saw the speed bar, I was like, great, okay. I still went to my search. But now, after years of practicing, I fell in love with it. And it's wonderful, okay? It's just a neat thing, but did I use it all the time? No, not when I first started teaching it. But a lot of people love it there. So let me show you another little thing you can do with the speed bar, if that didn't confuse you enough, is AG Smith. All the Smiths, all the agents, all the members of DABR with the last name of Smith. And I've been picking on this poor guy, but he'll show up in my class one day. Is Dan Smith here? I've been picking on Dan Smith for a lot. Okay. Well, anyways, someone called me up and said They just know he has a listing. They couldn't remember where it was at. They just knew Dan Smith was the realtor. Well, here I can see what company he works for, his address. I can email him right here. But if I click on his agent ID, yep, looks just like Dan Smith. I want to show you right before break how you can get your photos in here. Maybe right after break, I'll show you how to do that. But then all I have to do is click on his active listings and see he's got 2 active listings in Xenia and Jamestown. And there, right there, it just really helps me to narrow that down. Okay? Or I can do OFF and type in Irongate. And which Irongate office? Maybe the Far Hills one. Let me click on that office name and view their agents or view their active listings. I'll view their agents. And there's all their agents in there. So there, all I did was either OFF or Irongate or AG and then Dan Smith or just Smith. Okay? And then I can click on one and it just opens up. Okay? Tell you what, let me go ahead and show you how to add those photos in here now for yourself. Okay? But do you have to add your photo? No. I think it's nice if you do. So let me show you how you do this here. It is actually under the Input tab. Okay? Click on Inputs. Now, are you going to input a listing or modify an existing listing? No. You're going to go under the Roster option. Are you able to add a new member to the DABR? I hope not. Can you edit an existing one? Yes. Can you edit all existing ones? No. So you're going to edit an existing agent roster, and you're going to type in your ID here, your 109 number. So I'm going to type in Keith MLS, but I don't have a 109 number. I'm going to hit Modify. And then when this opens up, I believe the only thing you should be able to do is manage your photos. Okay? So you're going to click on Manage Photos, and there I've already added my photo. You can browse your computer, and you can add up to 100 photos of yourself if you like. Okay? With this pose, that pose, this hairstyle, that hairstyle. Okay? But you can upload your photo, and there you go. And I took my dog to the park in the park at the Reds game, and kind of liked the photo, and just kind of kept it there. But yeah, that's how you add your photos in there. Yes, ma'am.
Once you do that, where does it show up at? Like if you send an email, will it show up in their portal? Where does it show?
Okay, that right there shows it's only for other agents and members. Okay, and I don't know why we put it there, because I want to show you this next one, then we'll take our break. Because remember my banner here, my portal. Remember I had this photo up here. Well, it just disappeared. There we go. You would think it's using that same photo, but it's really not. And I don't know why. I'm not the programmer behind this. So I don't know why we had to make it in 2 separate spots for this. Okay? But if you added that under inputs, it shows up just for other agents to see that they're talking to the right person. Because maybe there's 2 Alice Smiths out there, and they want to make sure they're talking to the right one. Okay? The other place is very important. Because you're going to want to set this up. You're going to want your clients to see this banner here at the top. You're going to want them to see your name and phone number and how to reach you over here, your contacts. So let's show you how to set this up. That is actually under My Matrix and My Information. And like I said, I wish all of this could have came under this section here. Why do you have to go to input to do one photos and this one to do it for your client? I have no idea. Okay. But under My Matrix, My Information, please make a note to do this, whether you do it now or you do it later. But please come in here and set this up because you want your information to be set up in here. So under My Information, you get all these tabs going across here. Information, header, footer, mobile header, CMA cover sheet, and all this stuff here. Okay? The first tab, Information, please make sure this looks good. Okay? There are some boxes that you can override. Some people say, they don't know me by my first name, they know me by my middle name. Can I change this? Yes, you can. Put a box right there. Some people say, well, they don't know me by my first name, but they know me by my nickname. Keith Hot Stuff Inslee. There you go. You can change it like that. Okay? And I better take that back out because no one knows me by that. Okay? So some boxes in here you can override, such as your office phone number. So maybe, yeah, you technically work for this office, but you never use that phone number. You don't want people calling you there. Does this change your membership phone number and stuff with DABR? No. But this just changes it for your portal and your information that shows up out here. Okay? So please make sure that looks good. Then you're going to go to your header and footer. And when you first come into here, you're not going to have anything set up here. Okay? It's going to be blank, so please just pick something to get you started. You can go in here and upload your own custom header and footer. Okay? And we are trying to work with some companies that if they did one, then all we need to do is have you go underneath and upload it yourself into there. So if your company's creating one, that's the solution right now we're working with. But for now, if you don't want to create your own, or if your company didn't create your own, just pick one of these. And I picked that blue one. But St. Patrick's Day's coming up, I might switch it to the green one or whatever. Or I could do this one. It kind of reminds me of those orange barrels out there that's out there everywhere here. Okay. So just pick the one you like. Down here at the bottom, you're going to hit preview. And then when you come in here, your photo won't be there, but you'll just have to go in and add your photo again. Why can't we make the connection? I don't know. I do say in here you can add multiple photos, and that might be why. Well, you could add, remember I said up to 100 in the other one there? So I don't know why we're not pulling from here instead.
Future enhancement.
Future enhancement, there we go. Absolutely. So if you want your photo and your photo's not there, you're going to have to hit this change photo. And then there's your photo. Just hit the browse button, find it on your computer. If it's not on your computer, you're going to have to get on the computer that it's on. Or if it's on the computer, email to this computer. The good thing is, I can crop out the ugly guy and focus on the cute guy down here. And get more business that way. Okay? Now it's not baseball season, so I may not want this one. So I'll just switch it back to my normal photo. How come everyone laughs?
But see, I can see that being why it's separate.
Well, but remember you can do up to 100 photos on the other one though.
Right.
But you still got a primary one.
But if you have other agents coming to look for your photo, you don't want your sales.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, plus, and you're right, and plus in that other one, it said primary photo, where all the rest of 99 were just not primary. But where here, which one is the primary, it doesn't really say. So, good point. Maybe that's why. Okay, or I can use my graduation picture. There you go. Okay, I'll leave it on this one since that's the closest. I don't want to false advertise here. Okay. And then mobile header. So that's your portal banner that gets used for your clients. Mobile header is when you send listings to your clients and they open it up on their cell phone. Okay? You don't want that big old banner showing up. You just want a little short condensed banner. You cannot really change anything on here except for your photo or no photo. And what information do you want to show? And all this is being pulled from that first tab. Okay? And just make sure you save it there. The next one is the CMA. Now, we won't get into doing CMAs in this class. The next class we will, but this is your cover sheet for your CMAs and how it shows. The next one's a portal information. This shows on your portal what information you want people to see of you here. And we actually, it looks like we opened up some things here where you can show your active listings, your office listings, your sold listings, your all kinds of stuff there. Yeah, let's show my expired listings. Show them all the ones I didn't do a good job on. Okay. Actually, I may not have any expired, so if they click on it, they'll see nothing's expired. So that's your portal. Here's your email signature. Definitely think you should do something here. Because when you first come in, I think all you have is your first, last name. That is it. So I think you need to say sincerely or truly or love always, I don't know, whatever you say up here, okay? And then type in your name, type in your company, and you know about the bold, the italicized, the bullets. You can change the font, you can change the size, you can change the color, the highlight color. Make sense? But last thing, you saw my picture there. As long as you've uploaded your picture here, here, or here, I got my cursor blinking right next to my name here. Okay? So right above the font, there's a little box that says image right up there. Okay, it's right up there. As long as I've uploaded it, all I need to do is say select image, and here's all my photos I can pick from. And if I hit OK, it drops it in there. But I like a border around it, you know, a little black border around there. And plus, I want some elbow room in between my name and my picture here. So let me double click on it, pull this back up, and see here's my border. Now be careful, don't do a 44, maybe a 4. And see the space, the horizontal space, see the text right on top of the picture? Be careful, don't do a 44 there. Just maybe do a 4 or 5, hit OK. And now I got a little border and a little space in between here. If you have your signature somewhere else, and let's say you've got images, you got some graphics of all these logos and stuff that you have, try to copy it and paste it into here. I've been hearing very good results when that happens, if you copy and paste from another system. So that way you can get those all designations or maybe your company logo, whatever you have. If it's somewhere else, try to copy it and paste it in here. Can't guarantee it'll work, but I've been hearing very good stuff on that. And then make sure, obviously, you save it. Very last one, I don't want to talk about too much, but you get a full-fledged web page in here. Okay? Whether you use it or not, your company, you might already have one out there, that's fine. But here you can create your own web page. We give you a little generic URL for it, okay? But you can use another website and link it to here. But this is kind of advanced, so play with it if you like, but just know you do have a web page up there. Yes, ma'am?
Can you touch on IDX any?
Do I talk about IDX any? No, but I'll show it to you real quick here. Does anyone know what IDX is? IDX is your own search link. It's an IDX search link that Rapatoni gave you, and we give you search links too. And you can put those search links on websites, other websites out there, so when people go to it, they can search for listings, they can search your listings, open houses, things like that. Well, to set that up, it's under My Matrix, where you find everything, and it's under Settings. My Matrix and Settings. And then down here at the very, very bottom is called IDX Configuration. Okay? Now, I don't want to get into it now, but if you remember under the Help tab, and remember under that Video Tutorials, the second to last one is Configuring IDX Links. A 5-minute video will walk you through that. Yes, ma'am?
I was going to say, I tried it many times.
Okay.
I kept saying that the DABR did not support it. So when you switch to Matrix, now all of a sudden it's supporting it.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what the deal was, but I could never get it to work before.
Okay, maybe we weren't ready yet or something. But as long as it's working now, that's all that matters to me.
Yeah, it's showing.
It is it? Okay, good. Good. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not sure when you tried that, but yeah. Okay. Yeah, it must have been before we got switched over, because for a while it wasn't set up right. Okay, let's take about a 10-minute break, okay? 10-minute break. I wouldn't mind looking at that email if you don't mind. Get that up. Yeah.